Old school lifter, you remember what's called a preacher curl. A preacher curl meaning I'm off the edge of the bench, I use my knee, and I got a dumbbell, and I'm using my arm to curl. Okay, so I have his arm right here as if this is my knee. I'm doing what's called a preacher curl. So I keep it tucked underneath. I'm pushing down my forearm. Okay, my knee on the other side is blocking his head so that he can't turn his head. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to lift his hand up just enough of space for me to shoot my arm through here. Now, when you notice, I shot my arm through here all the way down to where I could grab his far side here. Now I start to turn, I sink down deep, and I swallow up. For you guys on the East Coast, back home, cement job. For out here in the Midwest, we call it a snake. To my snake position, and I can roll him over and get my pin. Probably the most effective move with a single wrist. It's also the most nervous move probably for wrestlers to try and do because they're so afraid of a guy getting an escape. But I encourage you to keep drilling and trying this, because if you develop this, you're going to pin a lot of people and get a lot of back points and a lot of bonus points for your team. Okay, so again, I have that single wrist, and if you can, come around this way. I have that single wrist here, and I'm driving. Now, if you also notice when I drive too, and I go to that butt, I'm almost putting my knee right in his head already. Okay, I'm up so high on him here that I could start to look for his head in my ride. And that's when you start to get real comfortable with the ride. I block the head here, I come in the butt, I circle around here, and as he's going around, I pressure down so I don't want to flip. My other knee is blocking right at that elbow, and I'm keeping it tucked here. Now, when you get really good at this move, wrestlers will literally try and pull their arms up so they get a potential dangerous call. So what you'll have to do sometimes is constantly keep pushing it down on them. You're like, come on, because they want to get out of it because they know they're in trouble. Now, when I go to lift this up and thread this arm through, my knees are going to change. This knee up here, you see how I'm kind of hunched over, pushing them down? When I raise this up and change my hand, this knee is going to change here and trap. Now, when you come back over here to this side, this arm's going straight through, locking right here, and now I sink chest to chest, swallow his head up, and then look to pin him here. Now, a little key also with the snake is, and I learned this from one of our Oklahoma State wrestlers named Johnny Thompson, who was known for his snake, 3-time finalist, 2-time national champ, is when I go to snake him and turn him over, I like to keep my arm underneath his back. And he told me why to do this. Why? Because they can't bridge off of it. If their back's laying right across my arm, so their shoulders are flat on the mat. If I pull my arm out, it's a little bit easier for them to come up or bridge up. So now, when he's laying across my back here, his shoulder's on the mat. If I pull it out here, he can bridge up and move. So I stay tight with this arm and roll it right across here, and I cover. And you notice my feet are wide, I'm covering, I'm hooking that chin, I'm laying my chest right on top of it.